Dive into what we do know with Chris MacDonald. He's the Chief Executive of the Materials Processing Institute. That's a not-for-profit research and innovation centre in Teesside. And he was previously a strategy and collaborations manager at Tata Steel and a manufacturing technical manager at Chorus in Scunthorpe. He's also Labour's prospective parliamentary candidate for Stockton North at the next general election. Chris, morning.
Good morning, Will. It's good to be with you.
No, it's great to have you with us. Just talk us through what you know so far, because the company's saying appropriate support from the government. What does that mean as far as you understand it?
Well, I think what the company's outlined is what their investment plans are to go green. So we know climate change is a big issue for the steel industry and it requires a lot of investment. And what we've seen in other countries around the world is that investment is generally a co-investment where government and companies invest side by side. And of course, we heard recently that government were planning to offer some support to Tata Steel in South Wales at our other big steel plant in the UK. So my expectation is that for this investment to go ahead, it would require a significant investment from government too.
Yeah, that's the sort of, I guess, the more positive side of it, right? That we're trying to future-proof some jobs in steel making, make this a less carbon-intensive industry if we can. The drawback, of course, in the short and, let's be honest, the medium term, in terms of the time that these things are going to take to get up and running, is that a heck of a lot of people could lose their jobs here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And look, we heard from some of the steel workers in Scunthorpe, and you said in your introduction, I used to work in Scunthorpe, so I'm very much thinking about the jobs and livelihoods of the steel workers there. But I think what we've heard yesterday, I would describe as a plan that's necessary, but it's just not sufficient. It's kind of halfway to where we need to be. So the company's saying that they're going to close down their blast furnaces, which are the big carbon emitting bit of a steel plant, and replace them with these new electric arc furnaces, and that's a great step forward. But what we've been missing there is the opportunity to make what we call primary steel, so steel from iron ore, and that requires a further investment, a further intervention. We didn't hear that from Tata Steel either in the UK, and I'm very concerned about that. And I know people in the industry are very concerned about that too, because that's not just an issue of jobs, it's also an issue of UK national capability.
The other big issue, Chris, is about training people, isn't it? Giving people the skills to be able to do these new jobs. They're going to need to be able to do different things. You will make this stuff in a different way. Do you think that there are programs, funding, because we know it's going to cost money, in place to do that?
So you're right. And this is an issue not only for the steel industry, but as part of this kind of green transition our whole economy needs to make. And so what I talk about, and a lot of people in the industry talk about, is what's known as a just transition, so that we help people to transition not only in steel, but in oil and gas or other sectors, transition from those sectors into the new jobs that we need in the green economy. And this is important for the workers and their communities, but it's also important for the UK economy, because if we want to make a success of making electric vehicle batteries or small modular reactors and offshore wind and all of these great opportunities we've got for the future, we need a skilled workforce to do it. So, the people you were just talking to in Scunthorpe there, they're just the sorts of people that we need to power the UK's green economy in the future. So we can't leave these people behind. We need to invest in their skills to enable us to do that.
Well, what would be your message to them this morning? Because I imagine it's a pretty stressful time if you're one of them.
Well, it is. And to be honest, I would be worried if I was in that position too. So part of this announcement was an investment in Scunthorpe in an electric arc furnace, but that clearly will be far fewer jobs. I think what we need to see is investment in the primary steel making as well. That's what I and many others in the industry are calling for.
Chris, really grateful for your time this morning. Chris MacDonald, Chief Executive of the Materials Processing Institute.